that good? Let's. That's all right. I wouldn't be the chairman.
Very good. Good evening, folks. I'm going to call this May 7th, 2024 meeting of the Henderson City County Planning Commission.
What's that, Frank?
Hey! That's okay, we'll go without you. All right. May 7th, 2024, meeting of the Henderson City County Planning Commission. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate your help and your enthusiasm. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you. David Dixon.
Here.
Kevin Richard.
Here.
Bobby Jarrett. Here. Mac Arnold.
Here.
XR Royster.
Here.
Dickie Johnson.
Here.
Gary Gibson.
Here.
Gray Hodge. Stacy Denton.
Here.
Kevin Herron.
Here.
Frank Boyette.
Here.
Heather Tace.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We do.
Very good, thank you. We have a brief public hearing here with one item on that agenda. I'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of entering public hearing, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? We're in public hearing. The only item is the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approval of the minutes, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Very good. Minutes approved. Now I'll entertain a motion to leave public hearing.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Okay, any opposed? Very good. We are out of public hearing, entering the non-public hearing portion of the agenda. First item is the April finance report. Ms. Brandon, can you help us with that?
Yeah, we're at 82% as of the end of April, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff concerning the finance report? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of approval, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Very good. April finance report is approved. Next item is the bond report. Ms. Marks?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry. So we've got one item on the bond update for this month, and it's dirty diesel. You'll remember that's out at the Riverport. We hold a bond for the insurance, currently at $14,364.44. The recommendation is that we extend that bond for 1 year at that same amount.
Any questions for staff concerning the bond report? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the bond report as submitted.
Second.
With a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Bond, any opposed? Bond report is approved. Next item on the agenda is the Hazex Yard Operations Site Plan. Ms. Marks, I think you're going to help us with that one too.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Hazex Yard Operations Site Plan submitted by Hazex Construction for the property located in Henderson County at 1890 Madison Street, being parcel ID number 56-49, and the applicants are requesting site plan approval. You will see in your packet there and also on the screen their current site that they already utilized. They are making upgrades to that site, and they can discuss that in more detail, but there was some KRS that was passed that allows them to expand some of the current spots that they have, and so that is what their plan is to do with their existing landfill. There's roughly 4 acres of an expansion here and 5.2 acres of a new compost area. The project will be done in phases. Like I said, the applicant is here, they can go into further detail on that. And the reason the phases are is because of the state permitting that they do have to go through to do these. This site plan approval will be contingent upon all local and state approvals, as well as a conditional use permit from the County Board of Zoning. And I'm here to answer any questions if you guys have those. And like I said, the applicant is also here if you need further information.
Any commission have any questions for staff? What did you say the conditions were?
It will be contingent upon all state and local approvals, as well as a conditional use permit through the Board of Zoning, County Board of Zoning.
Why is a conditional use permit necessary?
That's because of the use that it is there. And Randy's here, and he can speak further he's over there, if you guys need to know that, but it's just because of that use in that zone.
Okay. I'm sorry. Exactly what use are we talking about?
The landfill.
Okay. Maybe we should hear from the applicant. Anybody, commission, have any questions?
I was just curious, the difference between, the font's kind of small, the difference between the red and the yellow.
It definitely is. Let me see if I can pull up the larger copy so we can zoom in a bit on there.
So the red and the yellow area is what we're discussing?
There's differences, so let me pull this down a little bit, and then Miles, you can correct me if I misspeak here. So you can see here, the yellow is an existing, I think that says 0.95 acres of a landfill. So this section, with the triangle hatch, is an expansion of 1 acre of the existing yellow landfill. We've got the red landfill here, which is an existing, I think that says 0.99. And then the red hatch area is an expansion of 1 acre of what that is existing of that landfill. Let's see, we'll go this way a little bit. So the black section here is a proposed landfill of 1 acre. And then this section here says an expansion of 1 acre for that. And then if you're up here on there, the orange section here is a proposed compost area of 5.2 acres.
Okay. Your name, sir?
Miles Scott,
Your address?
Hayes-X's address or mine?
That'll work.
Okay, 1890 Madison Street.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but, yes, sir. You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, we are out of public hearing, but I think he still needs to be sworn in to get us on the
Yes, he's
record.
given testimony.
Very good. What can you tell us about this project, sir?
So, you may or may not be aware, but House Bill 478 passed about a month ago in legislation, and that legislation basically says that any existing landfill less than 1 acre can apply for an extension of that landfill up to, 1 acre. So what we are proposing here essentially is the yellow and red areas are already existing landfills that we maintain and operate. Due to the House bill passing this KRS, when we are able to, I believe it's in July, we are going to apply for an extension to the 2 existing landfills to extend those out. Again, I know it was mentioned we'll be in phases because of how the permitting process works. Moving to the black landfill, we are applying to also have that as a landfill, and once permitted, we would like to utilize the House bill that was passed earlier this spring to also extend that one as well. And then moving up the map there, that is a new proposed compost facility in which we plan to start a composting project there on site.
So what kind of materials are, I assume since we have 3 or 4 different ones here, different kind of materials are being stored in different locations?
Yeah, well, yes, the black, red, and yellow, those are C&D landfills, and that's currently what we have now with the red and yellow. We would just be extending those, accepting the same materials that we're accepting now. We'd just be extending our space for those materials. And then the composting area, there's several different avenues and materials that can be composted, and we're actually just scratching the surface on everything that can be composted, as such as mulch, paper, manure. It could be many different things that can go into the composting process.
Good, thank you.
I know what C&D is, but most of these people probably have no idea. When you're looking at a landfill, construction debris.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You know,
No household waste.
Yes.
Yes.
Let them know that.
Okay. Construction debris is our,
Okay.
Good.
sorry about that.
And commission have any other questions for this gentleman?
This is not really pertinent to what we're doing here now, but how long have you been operating there?
The yard,
We've been at that site since the 70s, and we've been operating the 2 landfills since the late 90s.
I know it's been quite a while, so this this will let you go on for probably another 20, 30 years.
Yes, sir, it will buy us more time as far as space goes and still be able to accept that material.
Well, I think the community really needs something like this.
Yes, sir.
I'll point out the compost facilities never used up.
If you're gonna speak, please come to the mic.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He did have a valid point. The compost area, for those that don't understand the composting process, I do want to do my due diligence on that. That area will never be used up. The other landfill areas will eventually expire because they will run out of room. Due to composting, that material will be composted and sold. Granted, that land will never fill up, so to speak, with run out of
Do you need to
space.
swear me in or something?
Yes, I do. Your name, sir?
Chuck Orth,
Your address?
I'm gonna say 1890 Madison.
And you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, one of the reasons for the compost facility is that we would be allowed to take wood that would normally go into landfill and grind it up and make compost out of that, which should then extend the life of the landfills even more, so.
Very good.
I actually have one question. Is the compost facility going to accept animals? Will you be composting animals? Or is it just,
Currently, no.
okay.
It's not part of the current process. We have explored different avenues with that, especially with different factories and whatnot in the area. But as the plan stands right now,
Not currently?
we do not currently.
Okay.
Not to say that it could happen.
It can be added to the permit, but
Okay.
initially the permit is gonna be trees, limbs, leaves,
Paper.
paper.
Okay.
We have put on residential garbage, but we have no intention of taking that restaurant garbage. We don't currently have any plans of taking that.
Just curious, there's a need for that in the area. so-
Yes,
Okay.
we're finding that.
Commission, have any more questions for these gentlemen? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else here this evening who'd like to discuss this project? If no one else has any more to offer, I'll entertain a motion in regard to the Hazex Yard operation site plan as presented.
I move that we approve the Hazex Yard Operation Site Plan as it's been submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This motion, we have some subject twos to add to this.
Yes, so it'll be contingent upon state and local approvals as well as their conditional use permit. The board of zoning.
Commissioner, are you happy to have that added?
I add that to my motion.
And the second is amended as well? Very good. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Kevin Richard.
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett.
Yes.
Matt Arnold.
Yes.
XR Royster.
Yes.
Dickie Johnson. Gary Gibson.
Yes.
Stacy Denton.
Yes.
Kevin Perrin.
Yes.
Frank Boyette.
Yes.
Heather Tate.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. The motion passes. Next item is the Henderson Distilling Company site plan. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, sir. This is submitted by Henderson Distilling Company, LLC, for the property located in the city of Henderson at 405 North Main Street, being parcel ID number 1-8-3-3. The applicants are requesting site plan approval. You may remember that the Planning Commission directed staff to send out letters to the adjacent property owner as if this was a rezoning. We did do that. So that way we fulfilled the request of the property adjoiners at the last time this was at the Planning Commission meeting, which was September 23rd, under rezoning 1152. The applicant is requesting site plan approval for approximately 3.074 acres. They are requesting the construction of a 7,350 square foot production facility. Staff recommends approval. We have received all necessary approvals except for the request for a utility plan from HWU. Staff recommends approval, and that can be provided to us at a later time. HWU requested that when we were pretty far along into the site plan process, and we didn't feel like it was necessary to hold the process up from there. And I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have.
That HWU's concerned about what's going into their sewage system?
Mr. Brett, I think there were some easements and some line locations that they were still wanting to be
Okay,
exactly locked in.
yeah, that's right.
But Mr. Calvert's here from HWU if you have any more detailed questions.
Commission have other questions for staff? Do we have a representative of the applicant here this evening? Your name, sir?
Andrew Powell,
Address?
710 North Main Street, Henderson.
You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
If I understand correctly, this is including one new structure.
That's correct, yes, sir. The
The
southwest corner right there is a new facility that used to be the laydown yard for impulse poles and wires.
Okay? So, and then there's, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other existing
Yes, sir.
structures that be
Yes, sir.
repurposed.
That's correct.
Entrances and exits, one on Water Street and one on Main, is that correct?
And there's one on Fifth
Okay,
as well.
very good. Does the commission have any other questions for this gentleman? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Anyone else here this evening like to speak to this project? Okay. As you said.
So I guess-
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Brian, so you, from a staff standpoint, we don't need to make the HWU thing conditional?
We would request to be
Okay.
approved subject to that.
Okay, that's what I was gonna
And-
ask. Subject to approval of HWU's.
Of a utility plan provided to the Plan Commission staff on behalf of HWU.
Okay, and we took, if I understand correctly, we took the extra step in notifying neighbors.
We did, sir.
In
We,
this case.
Heather can elaborate, but I believe we notified everyone that was notified with rezoning 1152.
Okay, which would not be the usual case for a site plan.
It is not.
Okay.
In
Any
other
other
words, we
questions,
don't
Tom?
have to ask anybody who was against it, who want to speak against it.
I believe that's the chairman's discretion if you would like to do that.
Oh, yes, by all means. Anybody wants to speak to this one way or the other, I don't mean to limit the discussion at all. Okay. I'll entertain a motion in regard to the Henderson Distilling Company site plan as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer a motion to approve the Henderson Distilling Company site plan submitted by Henderson Distilling Company LLC for the property located in the city of Henderson, 405 North Main, EID 1-8-3-3. Again, approval of the site plan subject to submittal of the HWU requested utility plan to the planning commission staff.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Heather Tays.
Yes.
Frank Boyd.
Yes.
Kevin Herron.
Yes.
Stacy Denton.
Yes.
Gary Gibson.
Yes.
Dickie Johnson.
Yes.
XR Royster.
Yes.
Mac Arnold.
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett.
Yes.
Kevin Richard.
Yes.
Excellent. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next item is the Henderson County Detention Center ground mount solar system site plan. Mr. Bishop.
Yes, sir. This is submitted by the Henderson County Fiscal Court and Armalite Energy for the property located in the city of Henderson at 380 Borax Drive, being parcel ID number 46-58.2. The applicants are requesting site plan approval. The applicants are proposing the construction of a 144 kilowatt ground mount solar system. The area that they would like to cover on the existing lot is 0.4 acres. Staff has received all necessary approvals from the relevant technical advisors. I would recommend approval. And I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for staff from the commission? Our last meeting in April, we dealt with the Danlin Industrial Subdivision Revised Preliminary Plat, which is in the same area, correct?
It is. Danlin typically, if I remember correctly, is a little further back.
And also involves a solar, a potential solar project?
Correct.
But this is completely
Correct,
different?
yes, sir. This is for the jail's use. I believe this would be used to augment their electrical need.
Okay. Do we have anybody from the applicant here this evening on this project? Your name, sir?
Jim Henson,
And address?
9200 Petersburg Road.
And do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good, thank you, sir. What can you tell us about this project?
It is meant to supplement power at the detention center. It won't exceed the usage. It's kind of meant to be an efficiency type project that will shave as much power economically as feasible. Solar can be used with energy storage to, run an entire facility. That's not the scope of this. This is really meant to take that excess property area there and shave the amount of energy that they consume.
I believe it's about 4 acres worth.
0.4.
0.4.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
okay. Okay, so every solar project does not come to the planning commission, is that correct?
It depends on the size of it.
What I mean.
If I remember correctly, in the city, there's 3 tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 is going to be more of a personal use. Some small arrays that we wouldn't really get involved in, they typically go to the coast department. I believe this falls under a tier 2 based on the acreage, and that still requires planning commission approval.
Okay,
And
thank you.
then tier 3, I'm sorry, tier 3 is what we typically see is the solar farms.
Okay. Any other questions for this gentleman?
Yeah, one more question. As far as that, was there any consideration ever using the roof system of the jail as solar?
There was, the original proposal was to put it on the roof of the building. I think there was a concern that it could, become an issue if somebody escaped from the facility or was trying to hide in that area and just make it difficult. The other issue is the roof is not brand new. And usually if a roof is more than 10 years old, you kind of frown on using it. When it's brand new, it's ideal because it will protect the roof from further, degradation from UV. But if you might be faced with a roof change out in the next 10 years, sometimes it's better not to go on it because you don't have to take it off and put it back on. But this area was available, and if you look at the map, the ideal position of solar is to face south. And it provided a good area there for that, and I think it functions well within the use for the jail in that particular area.
Is the garden going to be relocated, or?
They're using, the original location for it was actually back on the back side. And the decision was made by Bruce that manages it. So that area would be kind of on the back side of the jail, which from an agriculture standpoint, they use that more than they do this area. So I think the preference was to leave that larger acreage at the back for the tomatoes and all the agriculture with it there.
My concern, is the jail gonna own the solar panels, or are they leasing it from somebody?
It's what's called a service agreement, so it functions similar to a lease. There is a energy production that's guaranteed, as part of that, in addition to the service and the maintenance of it. At the end of the term, it becomes their property, so they own it. Payback on it is pretty fast. I mean, there's a significant energy savings for them. And I will say this, Hempel has really been, we just installed the system on Hempel's new headquarters, and Hempel's really been cooperative, and they appreciate, any kind of load that can be taken off of their system, especially if it's cost effective for the end user.
Brian, do we require them to have a bond on their facility like we do on the other?
I think this is the second or third small array that we've approved, and we have not done so yet. Typically because it's just going to be an improvement of their property. Similar to like if they were building an accessory building or something of that nature, we wouldn't require a bond there. So we've not done it here. Yeah.
We're looking at more and more, and then, if they fold, then somebody's gonna be responsible to clean up the mess.
We require bonding on the large solar farms.
I understand.
Yeah, we have not done it on these small arrays.
I will make a comment about that. It's kind of a unique system. It's ground mounted, but unlike piers that are driven into the ground, that go down 10 or 12 feet. These actually are kind of neat. They're screws that, with a skid steer, you basically drive the screw down to the ground, make a platform that sits above the surface of the ground about that tall, and then the racking structure goes on top. So the process of removing it or moving it, that's one reason why we chose that system. It's relatively simple. So any electrical contractor, and it's all local electrical, people that are working on Project Galloway actually will be doing this install.
Commissioner Johnson, if the Plan Commission chooses to do so, we could still require bonding. We just haven't done it previously on systems this small.
Well, I just think we need to maybe look at it in the future.
We can do that.
And maybe a mistake that we are making.
What's involved as far as in the, I guess, the ground maintenance in that area? Grass, water growing up, how that mow, even when you say it's, it's like, so that's makes it awfully easy.
Well, the structure that it sits on top of sits above the ground, and then it's built up on top of that. So it's easy to access it to do maintenance. These are bifacial panels, meaning they collect energy from both sides. So sometimes like a white gravel can be put underneath it, which will actually increase the production of the system. It's somewhat insignificant, but it's, it's one of those options that exist. So, we are intending right now just to make it it's about a 30-degree angle. Usually the latitude of wherever you're located is the ideal angle in relationship to the sun. And this is a fixed mount system, so it doesn't move. It just remains stationary, in its position. And the other thing, I'll just say again that solar is actually becoming relatively straightforward. There's not many components involved in a system like that. So if you had to move it or had to modify it or somebody had to maintain it, it's relatively simple. We did a project at Implewood Ford here in Henderson where they did resurface their roof, and within 2 days the system was down, roof resurfaced, system put back up, reinstalled. So it's becoming pretty much a modular thing, and I would encourage you to come out and look at this thing as it goes up. They're pretty fascinating how much power they generate at this point.
Any other questions for this gentleman? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else here this evening like to speak to this project in any regard? Commissioners have any further questions for anyone? I'll entertain a motion in regard to the Henderson County Detention Center ground mount solar system site plan. We have no substitutes. What's the pleasure of the commission?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the Henderson County Detention Center ground mount solar system site plan.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Kevin Richards.
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett. Yes. Mac Arnold.
Yes.
XR Royster.
Yes.
Dickie Johnson. Gary Gibson.
Yes.
Stacy Denton.
Yes.
Kevin Herron.
Yes.
Frank Boyette.
Yes.
Heather Tace.
Yes.
Very good. Motion passes. No administrative business.
No, sir.
Anybody have any other business? Anyone here this evening that has something they'd like to bring before the Planning Commission? Surely we got more to talk about, don't we? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of adjournment, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you all very much.